of it, Rick. All of it.
All of it. Just take care, young man. Eagles Commanders. NFC East at stake for the Eagles here. Early third quarter, Commanders up 10-7. Marcus Mariota under pressure, throws downfield. Eventually, he's under duress. It falls incomplete. Immediately after the pass, Mariota would seem to injure his hand as he's falling to the ground. Would not return after being assessed due to that hand injury. 3 minutes left in the third. Eagles, third and goal. Jalen Hurts takes a shot at the end zone, and Dallas Goedert is there to receive it. Philly goes up 14-10. Now, Mariota out is now on third stringer Josh Johnson to wield this offense. On 3rd and 14, he's under pressure, and that is Cooper DeJean stepping in front of it, getting the interception. And later in that ensuing drive in the fourth quarter, it's Saquon Barkley. Outside zone rep gets bounced back inside, and he is battering his way into the end zone. Joins Derrick Henry and Joe Mixon as the only players with 5 1,000-yard rushing seasons since entering the NFL in 2018. Late fourth quarter, why not give it back to your premier back? Barkley makes a man miss, and he's going to rumble for 48 yards down to the 26, and later in the drive, Tank Bigsby, a little different flavor for you, puts his foot in the dirt, and he is out of there. You don't see nothing but a name on the back of his jersey. Eagles up 27-10 there. They elect to go for 2. Hand off to Barkley is cash. Now, after the 2-point conversion, they'll scuffle. Wasn't broken up until it got a little fight. All it is resulted in 1 Eagle and 2 Commanders getting the boot from all this. Hats, flags from the refs, anything they could throw was on the ground. Eagles win the division, back-to-back champ, first time in 20 years in that division.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be present in the moment, enjoy it. Back-to-back NFC East champion, something like you said, after we've done 20 years. It's a big deal. But it's kind of like you enjoy it now, take the day off, and then right back to work.
This division's had so much parity in it throughout the years to be able to be a back-to-back winner and get ourselves into the playoffs. And obviously, we want our goals are much higher. I think that we've raised the expectations of what we expect, and so we're pumped. We're pumped to get in, but we got more work to do.
From 2001 to 2004, the Eagles won 4 straight NFC East division titles, reaching the NFC Championship all 4 seasons. For the next 20 years, no team had won the NFC East in back-to-back seasons, longest streak without a repeat champ in a division in NFL history until now.
Playoff run that's coming up.
This game is what we're going to see a lot of this week, next week, and the next week. It's when you have a good team versus a bad team. And the bad team has started to pack it in. They don't have their quarterback. They don't have their tight end. Their team is old. And you have a Philadelphia Eagles team that has championship DNA, that needs a game like this to hopefully kickstart, I think what you said, hopefully kickstart them going into the month of January. What I saw was Saquon Barkley, for the 5th time in his career, go over 1,000 yards. You take that for granted with Saquon, right? That's still really impressive. You know that as a running back yourself, Kenyon. And I don't know really that Philly, though, is going to be able to build off of this just because of April. And I want to respect that everybody in the NFL gets paid. But the fact is, there's a huge separation at this point. And I don't know that this is going to tell me that the Philadelphia Eagles offense has figured it out. They're going to hand the ball to Saquon Barkley, and they're going to run it down the throats of the Buffalo Bills next week. I don't know that that's necessarily going to be the case. Good win, but this is what you're supposed to do. And it took you too long to do it.
And I don't know that running the ball down the throat of the Buffalo Bills will tell us anything either. It's one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. Then they get Washington in Week 18. Point being, Kenyon, you are who you are at this point in the season. Do you see enough in Philadelphia?
Other than saying you can't teach your old dog new tricks, right? But with this Philadelphia team in this roster, I don't want to look at the coaching staff. I want to look at the roster. These are all capable guys. These are all guys who have been there, who have done it, and seen the highest of the high. So when you look at this team, they can absolutely flip that switch. We haven't seen it yet, right? It's been inconsistency after inconsistency, but the objective of football is to win, and that's what this team has been able to do.
Mac, if we wanted to poke holes here, I would look to the first play game and one of the last. A fumble on the opening kickoff. Now, ball gets popped out, that's football. But the focus you come into a game with and the focus you leave it with. We saw a scrum at the end of this one that could cost Tyler Steen some time. Ejected late in this, and we'll see what the NFL wants to do with that ejection and how they enforce in this big matchup coming up with the Bills. Now, division's locked up. You're just playing for pace, you're playing for momentum, but the start and the end, does it worry you at all for the Philadelphia Eagles?
In tonight's matchup?
In terms of who they are, in terms of
question.
what you're bringing and how you're leaving.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks, to JJ's point, they did what they were supposed to do. You played against the Raiders, you're supposed to beat the Raiders, you beat the Raiders. You played against the Commanders tonight, you're supposed to beat them. I didn't like the start, but the second half is what we all expected to see. Now it's about building momentum for what you're going to see in the playoffs. Because the last time I checked, the potential teams they could see in the playoffs potentially could come from the West.
Yeah, we're probably looking at a 3 seed here with the champion, a 2 or 3.
Yeah, so whoever does not win the West potentially could go out to Philly in round 1 of the playoffs, and that ain't no easy task.
Sure, it could be the Rams, which, I mean, and the Philly may want the Rams because that's the one place that, the Rams can't win.
But the point that we're all making is some of the things that they've struggled with in tonight's matchup could really be the depth of them in the playoffs playing against better teams. I love what I saw from Saquon Barkley, but I still hate the fact that we're not seeing creativity in the running game. Right?
So much of it is the run block group in front of them.
Yeah.
And I want to take it to JJ here. Do we have precedent in the way that the league has handled situations like this? Late game ejections this season, the nature of what we saw in the scrum there late in the game, what we might expect heading into that Buffalo matchup?
So it was a punch thrown, and that is not what the NFL would equate to, let's say, spitting on someone, right? We saw that at the start of the season with Jalen Carter.
Keep your eyes on 5-6 on this video.
Right. No, that's okay. And so this is sort of your classic NFL end-of-game scrum. We see it once every other week or so. He gets ejected, Tyler Steen does. Look, I think what ultimately is going to happen is he's going to be docked a hefty amount of money. When you talk about throwing a punch, that's tens of thousands of dollars. I would be very surprised if he winds up getting suspended for the game. Now, I don't have his entire ledger right here in front of me, right? If he's throwing a couple of punches in his past and you become a repeat offender, then that's a different story. Just a one-time deal. He's just going to be, giving some money to charity, I think. But that's going to be the case for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think you all make a great point about how they're playing for the 2 or the 3 seed. Likely the 3 seed right now. We'll see how things play out for the NFC North. But the Eagles, you know that you're going to get at least one home game now that you've won the division. They're the first back-to-back for the first time in the NFC East in 20 years, which is crazy to think about. But again, it's about whoever the opponents, the Raiders, the Commanders, whomever, play good football. And that's what they did in the second half, but certainly not the first.
It is 5 consecutive trips to the playoffs, a back-to-back division title, as JJ said, for the first time in 2 decades. I want to talk about something that the Philadelphia Eagles do better than anybody in the NFL. Kenyon, what is the value to an offense knowing that when we get inside that 20, that high red, it's ending in 6? Because we talk about playing for a 2-3 or a 3 seed. They're playing for 6 points when they get down to that red area, going better than 70% red zone conversion, 3 for 3 in this game. What is that value when you're in the huddle knowing that we're knocking on the door and that door's going to go down?
Listen, that value is priceless. You can't pay the price. We call that the money zone. It's not the red zone. That's where you're going to make your bread, and that's where this Philadelphia Eagles team has made their money. You know when they get in, especially inside of the 5, when you can smell the end zone, you know what's coming, push. So when you look at this offense, you look at the way that they move this ball, and once they get into the red zone, they score. And that value, again, you can't put a price on that because a lot of teams struggle. The Chargers, for example, they struggle in the red zone. When you have a team, you have a quarterback, you have a group that can go down and get you 6, you can't lose.
And it's going to be really important for the Eagles to get 6.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Jake Elliott just went over 2.
Yeah, he didn't have a good night.
And he hasn't had that great of a season, right, based off Jake Elliott's standards. So is that something that's going to creep in? Because special teams, right, when you're playing good on good, and it's January football, and the margin is slim, you better be making those 3 points. And Jake Elliott, who has been so money for this team, you know very well, especially in January, over his history, has been money. Right now, not feeling great about Jake Elliott at
That's
the
the thing about having a guy that's been there. He can go through this slump, right? And at the flip of the switch, he can be that guy that we know he can be. I don't doubt Jake. I know that locker room doesn't doubt Jake because he's done it. He's been in Super Bowls. He's been there. He knows, and that, again, that's the benefit of having a guy like that. He can go through this slump. He's having a bit of a tough stretch, but I got all faith in the world that when it counts, he'll put that ball through the uprights.
Yeah, let's kick any and all slumps right here, right now for the Philadelphia Eagles. 2 more opportunities, but I want to say a lone opportunity left out in front of them, a trip to the Buffalo Bills, VMAC. You are only as good as your next one. What do you want to see in that matchup? It's going to be a hungry AFC team fighting for seeding and their playoff spot, potentially still the division, and a Philadelphia team that really has to self-motivate, having already locked up the division.
I want to see a sense of urgency for Philly, because when you talk about getting off the slow starts to fast starts, that can be the difference in winning ball games and postseason play. And they're playing against a team that has a lot at stake in the Buffalo Bills. They're playing against a quarterback that's probably number 2 in the MVP voting, right behind Matthew Stafford, based on what he's done over the last 2 or 3 weeks in the National Football League. I know you shake your head, JJ, but I said what I said. And look at the tape, because he's been outstanding. He's been the best playmaker at the quarterback position in the entire NFL, in my opinion. So when you look at how much improved Philly's defense has been, they've been balling. I want to see what they have in store